Now, the original Saints Row didn't really benefit from the comparisons to the Grand Theft Auto series, but it's apparent with Saints Row 2 that the two franchises are now going in very different directions.
The agents of revolution will not be stopped!
Saints Row 2 kicks off several years after the end of the original Saints Row, where your character was apparently blown up in this crazy yacht explosion.
How's the patient?
Seeing as they're still breathing after being caught in a massive explosion, I'd say pretty good.
You wake up from your coma with a new face.
Yes, that looks like it healed nicely.
And with Stillwater overtaken by the Ultor Corporation, big, nasty, oppressive Big Brother presence that has turned Saints Row into this gleaming glass and steel utopia of corporate excess. The rest of the game focuses on you getting the Saints back together, taking out the other gangs in Stillwater, and eventually taking out Ultor itself. Now, there's a fair amount of celebrity stunt casting in Saints Row 2, but generally this works to the game's favor, particularly with the case of Marrow, the crazy biker, who's voiced by Michael Dorn.
Come on, you expected anything less?
There's just something fun about going up against a dude that sounds like Worf.
You're kidding me, right?
Hey man, be cool.
Now, this is really the logical extension of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, much more so than Grand Theft Auto 4. While that game strove for a certain amount of verisimilitude and dramatic weight, Saints Row 2 just wants to pack in as many crazy activities as possible. You'll be taking out these other gangs, often just going into a building and killing a bunch of dudes, but sometimes you'll actually have to go and blow that building up or at least run a helicopter into it.
All right, let's get out of here.
You'll occasionally have to take on one of the game's many insane side missions, which can involve skydiving, streaking through the streets naked, taking a dive in front of a car to collect insurance money, and more. Not all of these activities are winners, but there's just enough variety that you never have to grind on something that you don't like. Now, you'll earn a little bit of money from taking on these missions, but if you want to make some real paper, you gotta go invest in real estate. You'll gain control of different neighborhoods as you take out the other gangs, and you can also buy interest in the different stores that are in your turf. Now, you get a dividend on these investments on a daily basis, and this stuff eventually racks up quickly, to the point that money really isn't an issue in Saints Row 2. Now, while you can eventually take over all of Stillwater, Saints Row 2 just isn't that interested in creating a real living, breathing world. It's more about just giving you a giant, crazy sandbox to go nuts in. A good example of this is the character creation system. You can mix and match male and female parts and wardrobe to your heart's content. There are a lot of crazy, rude gestures that you can assign and different fighting styles. And at any point in the game, if you're not happy with the way your guy's looking, you can drop into one of the many plastic surgeons in Stillwater and completely remake your guy from the ground up. You can also customize the look of the Saints with some pretty absurd results, and there's just no denying the charm of seeing a half-naked dude in a safety vest and a mosquito mascot mask rolling around with a gang of ninjas. There's no question that GTA 4 is a better game than Saints Row 2, but in some ways Saints Row 2 is more fun. Saints Row 2 doesn't look as good as Grand Theft Auto 4, and it doesn't have any of the heavy moral choices or melodrama, but cars handle more easily, cops are less of a threat, enemies are easier to kill, and there's just more crazy over-the-top stuff to do. If GTA 4 was a little too serious for you, then Saints Row 2 might be exactly what you're looking for.
Yes, that looks like it healed nicely.
Ah!